It's Friday, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Daily Distinction. Really glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and good to see everybody. Thanks for joining on Daily Distinction today. How's everybody? Brian, missed you yesterday. Didn't see that you posted yesterday, so I just want you to know I'm keeping an eye. I'm watching out for you, man. I'm really glad that you're here. Thanks for being here, Brian. And Pam, always good to see you. Hope things are good back in Fishers. I haven't checked out the weather yet. We are having a cold snap here in Las Vegas, by the way. It's only 96 degrees at noon. I got to tell you, that really is a lot cooler than it's been because it's been about 110, 112 at noon. So loving that. So that's great. Hey, Scott, always great to see you. I'm doing very well. Hope you're doing all right. Oh, Bonnie, I appreciate that. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Thank you for being here today. And Bonnie's one of our favorites. She's a regular. I really appreciate that. And Weldon is on time today. Look at this. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a great vacation, Weldon, and having a good time. And sunny San Jose sounds great. That is awesome. Yeah, you watched the replay. Good deal. Good deal. We've got a big announcement coming shortly about the podcast as well. So, Kevin, always great to see you. And Ted, always great to see you as well. Thank you, as always, for being here. We've got a good topic today. It's about being comfortable. Got a little story to start out with that I've mentioned before, that I'm trying to get in better shape, trying to lose weight, and all that kind of good stuff. And so, been doing an exercise program. And you know what I did? First, I mean, I've been at this for about, I don't know, 5 weeks, something like that now. And man, I'm just feeling so much better and things. And I pushed it too much yesterday, and I've messed up my back. Not bad. I mean, not a horrible, injury, but just kind of tweaked it. Just kind of sprained it. And I've had back trouble in the past, and so I'm always so cautious. And if Shelly, my sister's had back surgery, I've got a lot of friends that's had back issues. Goodness only knows if you've had it. I sympathize with you and empathize with you, because back issues are really, really challenging. I remember, it's been a long, long time ago, but it's back when I worked for Franklin College, and my best pal from college, Dan LeClaire, worked in the same office. We worked together, and Dan took off a few days with back issues. And I remember I was like 25 years old at the time. And I remember thinking, it can't be that bad. He's missing 3 days of work. It can't be that bad. Well, be careful, because then I started having back issues a few years later, and I realized not only was it that bad, Dan was underselling it. It was worse than what he was letting on. So anyway, it's one of those situations where, and maybe you had it too, where it's not that it hurt so bad that you can't do anything else, but you just it's just hard to feel comfortable. And I was thinking about the word comfort, and all of a sudden it occurred to me that one of the challenges that we're having right now in the economy, not making this a political statement, nothing like that, but one of the problems that we're having is the comfort of our customers. Grab the jacket. It's only 96. You're right, Charles. It's a big cool down here, but I'm sure the heat's coming back. Hey, Robert, great to see you. Thank you for being here. It's 87, feels like 95. See, there's the incredible difference, Pam, is that in Indiana, 87 would feel like 95. You can be out here and it's 100, and if you're in the shade, it feels like 80 because the lack of humidity. Oh, you've been there, Charles. It just doesn't feel comfortable. Nothing horrible. Just hard to get comfortable. And then you think about, we tend to buy more at the places where we feel most comfortable doing business. Joe Calloway has been a guest here before, and he's going to be part of our Ultimate Business Summit. And Joe talks about, my favorite restaurant is the one where they know my name. And I love that line, because yeah, you want great food, but if you walk in and the host or hostess, the maitre d' or the hostess at the front, they know your name, and you've got a favorite waiter, right? I mean, there is something that adds to the comfort of that dining experience. Uh, my pal Larry Winget always makes fun of me because I go these places, and if he's in town, he come along and he says, "Yeah, Lee, do you ever go any place where they don't know who you are?" And I'm like, "Well, the first time they don't, but I love doing business with places that know me. Why? Because it feels more comfortable." But I'll bet you have had the experience too, where you walk in someplace and the vibe just doesn't strike you right, or they're a little too pushy, or they're a little too whatever, and it just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just have a hard time closing the deal. You just have a hard time, and it might be anything from buying a car to buying a pair of pants. Customers have difficulty buying when they just don't feel comfortable. But yet, I don't see very many seminars on customer comfort. I don't see very many books being written about making your customer more comfortable. And when we think about what we're going through now in the economy that we are facing, good grief, comfort has never been more important. I ran across these statistics today that talks about that our economy isn't recovering until customers feel more comfortable. Look at these now. I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you here for just a minute. 43% are comfortable to return and dine in restaurants. Now, just stop right there for a second. Think about that. They're working at half capacity, and a little bit less than half of us are comfortable to go back to a dine-in restaurant. But look at this, only 27% of frequent flyers are ready to board a flight again. Tammy flew back to Indiana, and I was concerned the whole time. And I got to tell you, I have no burning desire. I'm still COVID positive, but even if I got a negative report, I got no desire to get on a plane right now. Where would you go, and what would you do when you get there? You go to Hawaii and you're going to sit in a hotel room for 2 weeks. I mean, I know they're having this thing now that if you can show a negative test within the last 3 days, but how are you going to do that when it takes 7 days to get your test back? Alaska's doing airport testing, which I find very interesting. But where are you going to go? And only 27%. And the airlines are screwed if a quarter of your frequent flyers are all the customers that's ready to do business with you again. Only 26% of us are willing to return to bars. And only 20% of us say that we would attend a public event. Kind of makes you wonder for those in my old home of Indianapolis, kind of makes you wonder if maybe that's the reason that they're only going to sell 25% of the seats at the Indy 500. It's not just the social distancing, but realizing only about 25% of the people felt comfortable going anyway, right? So, hey, Carrie, it's always great to see you. If you haven't seen Carrie on here before, she is one of our big supporters of the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott. And so Carrie is always on the bat or on the ball on that. And gosh, really appreciate you being here today, Carrie. Thank you for that. There you go. Took 2 months for the guests at the salons that Bonnie has to feel comfortable with all that. And see, Bonnie, you bring up a great point in that I remember my grandparents absolutely had to go in the bank. They would not use the ATM. And that sounds so crazy now because it's such a part of our lives. But there was a time when ATMs came around that people would not use them because they didn't feel comfortable with where the money was going. And so they just flat out wouldn't use it because they didn't feel comfortable. Carrie, I will only buy something if I need it. Yeah, and there's the challenge. It's sell the need these days. If you can't do it, you won't feel comfortable buying it. Yeah, no kidding, Carrie, because even those, and we hear that. Look, I don't have the latest figure in front of me, but let's say there's 15% unemployment. I think it's less than that. But let's say there's 15% unemployment, which you could look at that conversely and say it's about 85% employment. Well, even those 85% are still concerned because who knows what's going to happen next. This is such a fluid situation. So how comfortable are we in our business making our customers feel? And what can we do to speed that comfort? You remember that, Bonnie, that people got concerned about that? Been trained in improv and acting courses where you need to push yourself. And yeah, exactly. If, if, but think about that for a minute, Brian. You make such a great point. When you have customers, sometimes you can't push them into areas of discomfort, right? We can push ourselves. How do we get them to want to push themselves into the uncomfortable so that they become comfortable? That's part of what we have to do these days. Medical clinics need to upgrade their test kits to new standards. Yeah, California shut down indoor dining again, and it's crazy in that. Um, Tammy and I were looking today. I mean, she still does not have her test result back yet. Is that crazy? We took the test. She took the test 12 days ago. 12 days ago, and still hadn't gotten the results. I got my results back quicker because I'm on a different insurance policy that went to a different lab, and that lab's getting them done. The lab at Tammy's insurance center too went to something different. It's just crazy. Then we saw, we could get 24-hour testing here in Vegas, and it's $300. So you think, well, do I want to spend that money in this crazy time to get a result that could be positive? That means you can't do anything anyway. I don't know. It's crazy. And and there you go. We are uncomfortable with that process. And so we're not going to spend the money because we're uncomfortable with the situation and the process. Yeah, that's another one. Janice is doing the, like taking a picture of your check and depositing it that way. But yet I was going through the drive-through not long ago, and I was depositing a check, and let's say it was for $1,000, right? The check I'm depositing, and they missed a zero and made it $100. And I know the folks at the bank, and I'm talking to them, and I get the receipt. I made them. It's my fault. I didn't read the receipt, and so even dealing with a banker can cause problems. I mean, they finally made it right, but I had to go through this rigmarole to get the other $900 in the account. It's crazy. So even the human beings can make that. And Charles, I think, yeah, there's a lot of us that might not be unemployed, but we're underemployed at the moment. Oh, thanks, Bonnie. I appreciate that. Hey, Laura, great to see you. Hope you're doing well. If you didn't catch it, take a second and look at Laura's picture where she's in the cone. I love that. You're the best, Laura. Laura's been a guest here before. Got to get you back, Laura. Love to have you back. Hey, Donovan, good to see you. We need to feel confident and comfortable, and then we can help the cut. And Donovan, you make a great point. If we're not comfortable, hard to make a customer comfortable in a situation that we are not, right? So it's just like we have to sell ourselves on our own product or service before we can sell others. You're exactly right. But I'm going to suggest that our economy isn't recovering until we feel more comfortable. So what can we do to help make them more comfortable? Now, there's no silver bullet, all right? This isn't do these 4 things and it's all going to be okay. No, it's not, because it's always based on the perspective of the customer. Some of you who have heard me speak have heard me use the story of I said to the audience, raise your hand if you believe that every customer always behaves rationally. And like nobody raises their hand. And then I say, I want to disagree with you. I think customers always behave rationally from their point of view. And everybody kind of goes, oh, okay, I get it now, right? Because it's that you don't agree with their reasoning. You don't agree with their rationality, but you say to a customer, why did you do that? And they always have a reason. Now, you don't agree with the reasoning, but they always have a reason why they're doing what they're doing. So comfort is always going to be based on the customer's perspective, not your own. That's why the 4 things I'm going to recommend to you may not work with some customers because they have a different viewpoint. They have a different perspective. But I want to suggest to you 4 things that you can do to help your customers feel more comfortable in these times. First, have conversations about your service, not about sales. We are looking for support and we are looking for assurances now more than ever. That's part of the comment that you saw earlier, right? I mean, that was let me go back up here. That was Carrie Lynn's comment, right? Is that do we need it? And then we're going to be served, and we're going to be backed up. I mean, she's exactly right, and all of that is absolutely critical. Yeah, comfort's in the eye of the beholder. Is there a rational customer? Well, then, yeah, from their point of view, they are. Oh, Janice, I love this. YouTube would be out of business if everybody acted normal, right? They would be. That's a great line. I love that. Hey, Laura, we'll make this happen. And thank you. I appreciate that. Tammy's feeling a lot better, dealing with a little vertigo. That's goodness only knows, probably a result of that. By the way, if you haven't seen it, there's a great column from my pal Randy Gage, and Randy, speaks about going through COVID-19 and what he did to at least deal with it and make himself feel better. And Randy is awesome. And as Randy notes in the post, it obviously of particular concern to him as he was diagnosed many years ago as HIV positive. So, these underlying conditions that you read about that are so terrifying. So Randy, just look for Randy Gage, GAGE.com. It's a blog post that he has if you're looking for info there. But again, the first thing that we could do, the conversations we should have with our customer should be about how we're going to serve them, not how we're going to sell them. Selling can come later. Selling has to come later for your doors and my doors to stay open, right? But that's it. Second, utilize testimonials from other customers. Did you note yesterday when I was talking about the Ultimate Business Summit, one of the things that I did was to play that little clip from Erica talking about what she got from the Ultimate Business Summit. You expect that I'm going to tell you it's a great summit, right? I mean, it's something I'm involved in. I don't mean that from trying to sell you. Obviously, I'm prejudiced about it because I'm involved with it. I get that. So one of the important things is to show you, like when Charles has talked about his experience there, for example, is the what customers say has more traction and relevance with prospects and other customers than what you're going to say. So one of the ways to make them feel comfortable is to show them examples of other folks that have had comfort doing business with you. Oh, Weldon, vertigo is awful. It sucks, right? I mean, it just sucks. Sorry that she's dealing with that on vacation too. Uh, Comfort is related to retraction like risk is related to expansion. Yeah, exactly. It's a great way to put it, Brian, because one of the things we do is we make people more comfortable. They're not going to retract their business. They're not going to retract from the situation of being with us. So you got to take a risk to expand, and you got to ensure comfort to keep them from retracting, going back on their business. So I think this is a time that testimonials have always been important, but I think this is a particular time that testimonials are vital and are critical to our success. Utilizing more testimonials than we ever have. We shouldn't have to be reminded of number three, but sometimes we do. But it is an essential factor in building comfort, and that is show genuine interest in the customer and listen to them. One of the challenges, it's a bad example, but one of the challenges, for example, when my first wife, Sherry, was dealing with cancer, one of the hardest things as a caregiver, as silly as this sounds, is that somebody would ask me how Sherry was doing. And I would tell them. And then some other friend would ask. And I was grateful that they were asking. But when you tell that story of when you tell that story 15 times a day, you kind of get burnt out. But the thing you have to remember is it's the only time they hear it. I may have to tell it 15 times, but for that friend, it's the only time that they get a chance to get that question answered. Well, sometimes I think as we're dealing with customers and these customers keep asking the same question, sometimes we think, oh golly, or we We've answered the same question 3 or 4 times. You ever had this happen in sales? You've answered that question 3 or 4 times already to 3 or 4 different customers today. Here comes the next customer, and you start answering it before they've even asked it, right? I might as well answer it now because they're probably going to ask it. And their perception is you're pushy. Why? Because you were telling them things rather than responding to them. What we have to do is to show genuine interest in our customer and listen to what they're saying. Oh, Bruce, I love this. If you say it, it's bragging. If your customer says it, it's a testimonial. You have hit a hot button for me, my friend. One of the things that I cannot stand is when somebody in my field says they are the world's number one insert. World's number one customer service expert, world's number one sales trainer, world's number one, here's the one I see all the time, world's number one motivational speaker. Really? Who did that ranking? I mean, who did that ranking? Now, if you say world's number one motivational speaker and put it in quotes from the New York Times, ooh, now it's a testimonial, right? Or the best speaker we've ever had, and it's in quotes and it's from a client, that's something completely different. But when you make that claim, it's bragging, and it just absolutely kills me. Well, hey, Carrie, thank you. I've told you before, haven't I, about the speaker, and it said he holds up this book and he says, "This is my best-selling book." And I thought, man, I've never even heard of it. What was it? Tell me more about the. So I asked him. I said, "So that's your best-selling book? Well, where was it? It's usually good if you say where it's a bestseller. Was it a bestseller in New York Times? Was it Amazon bestseller? Where was it a bestseller?" He said, "No, I've got 4 books back there, and of the 4, that one's my bestseller." It's not what it means when you say it's a bestseller. But again, it's a claim. It's a claim. And if you don't need to be saying it yourself, you need to make sure the customer does it. Charles, I love this. What concerns do you have about buying or selling a home? And then listen to them. That's so good. Charles, years ago, I was keynoting a meeting for Century 21, and they had some extra time, so they said, "Would you do Q&A?" Yeah, sure. I love doing Q&A, right? So throw it open, and somebody asked, "All right," and they were kind of strange about it. They said, "All right, you're here speaking to us, but you've never sold houses. So if you were going to sell a house, how would you start? What would you do?" I said, "Man, that's a great question." And then I said, "Okay, so if they were buying a house in the same city, I understand that if they were going from Indianapolis to Las Vegas, like we did, that our realtor in Vegas couldn't do this. But if they're moving to a bigger house or something in the same city or a different neighborhood or whatever, I would say to them, can I meet you at your place, and would you show me where you currently live? Because I'd love to know more about what you like." So what I would do is, if they would point to the backyard and say, "See, it's a beautiful backyard, but gosh, wouldn't it be great if a pool was there?" Then when I showed them a house, I could say, "Now look out and see that pool in the backyard. Remember how you said one of the reasons that you were moving is because when you looked out of your backyard, you were thinking, boy, it'd be great to have a pool and have a place for the kids." I would base my pointing out the features of other homes on what they had either identified that they loved about the home that they're currently in. Oh, it's so tough to leave this house because we love the size of the kids' bedrooms, right? So then I would structure that up. But what happens with so many, and Charles, I know this isn't you, but what happens with so many is they become a tour guide. This is the kitchen. And we had Tammy and I had that happen in India. And we kind of wanted to go, "Oh, no kidding. Wow, they keep the refrigerator in the same room we do. That's so cool." I know it's the kitchen. But talk to me about the custom cabinetry, or talk to me about, right. I mean, it's so basing it on what the customer wants and what they like. Oh, well, you're right, Charles. Yeah, it's the largest purchase of a person's life. I mean, absolutely. So we're going to show genuine interest and listen to them. Here's the fourth and final one. Show your expertise and success, not in a bragging way. Bruce is exactly right about that. Not in a bragging way, but in a way that gives them comfort about who they're dealing with. If you go to scottmccain.com, which is my website that's basically for our speaking business, you'll see the companies I've worked with in the past. Now, part of that is to show success, but the other part is so our new customers go, man, he's got to be a good speaker. Look, he's worked for Apple, he's worked for Cisco, he's worked for, right? I've got a thing on my website that says the highest rated speaker in the history of our company, Cisco. Now, that's Cisco saying that. It's not me saying I'm the best speaker they've ever had. I'm quoting them saying, at least to that time, I was the highest rated speaker that they had ever had in terms of the evaluations that they got from the meeting planners. So it's showing expertise and it's showing success, and it's to make others feel more comfortable about choosing me and doing business with me as a speaker. So the 4 ways that you can help make your customers more comfortable is to start talking first about service with them and support with them, not just about selling your product. Utilize the testimonials of other customers. Show genuine interest in what they're saying and listen. And then be willing to show your expertise and success, not in a bragging way, but in a way that makes them feel comfortable about your ability to deliver what you promised. Remember, we said before, customers judge you only on 2 aspects. That's it. There's only 2, promise and performance. What do I feel that you have committed to deliver? And then how did you deliver on that promise? How did you perform based upon my perception of the promise? So when we do these things, we help show the customer in advance that we are committed to the kind of performance that aligns with our promise. Hey, you see the Ultimate Business Summit logos behind me. Hope you've got it on your calendar, August 13th and 14th for the Ultimate Business Summit. And the ticket price is typically $197 for the general ticket, $497 for the VIP. By the way, you can see the whole laundry list of things that VIPs get at ultimatebusinesssummit.com. But when you sign up for the Ultimate Business Summit, we've had 5 already so far today. Just enter the coupon code Scott. You'll get $100 off, which means it'll only be $97 to go to the UBS. It'll only be $397 to get the videos and the extra sessions and the Zoom calls afterwards and everything that comes with being a VIP. I know that you're going to love it. So please make plans to attend the Ultimate Business Summit. Just go to ultimatebusinesssummit.com for all of the info. It is right there. Hey, Scott, I appreciate it. There's my new testimonial today, my friend. I got it. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, everybody, thanks so much. We do our quick abbreviated weekend check-ins coming up on Saturday and Sunday, so I look forward to seeing you this weekend, and I appreciate you being here. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time for our next edition, the weekend edition of Daily Distinction. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. Thanks to those of you watching on the replay. I really appreciate it. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow. Thanks.